Slacktail Squad, assemble.
You go there every time.
Go where?
You do.
I did not. I said he has a great voice.
No,
for
you
radio.
didn't. You said it's deep and sexy.
Saucy. Even saucy.
Yeah. Deep
Um,
and sexy.
we were just talking, and Ronz, what embarrassing question were you about to ask Tromondae? Go ahead.
Oh no! When you started to grow up, and when did you blow out your chest? I mean, start working.
Oh, that's
out.
what you want to say. When
Yeah.
did you blow out your chest? Yeah. When did you get jacked, Tromondae?
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently not jacked. I don't think I ever really was jacked.
Well, you said you used to be able to wear a shirt like that, so.
He used to
But-
be long and lean.
Yes, I wasn't necessarily jacked though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were working out, or
No.
you know.
The most working out I've ever done is running a Tough Mudder.
And I've seen pictures of that.
And did you see how good I look?
Yeah. Didn't I tell you the dip story?
You told me the rock story. I don't know about the dip story.
I didn't tell
The
you the
rock
tricep
story
dip.
was a totally different Tough Mudder.
Yeah, I didn't tell you the tricep dip story.
No, I don't believe you did.
Well, we were picking teams for the Tough Mudder, and I told the Swan, I said, you should ask Tromondae if he wants to do it with us.
Yeah, because he does all those obstacle courses and stuff at camp.
He looked like a
ropes
fit. He just
course.
looked like a fit young man. So I was like, I bet he runs no problem. Has no problem running.
Can do a 7-minute mile, no problem.
Probably back then.
Probably back in the day you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not now.
So
Okay.
we all met up at the gym at the Y to do a little bit of training, talk about some strength training, things like that. And I went up to the dip bar and I said to Tromondae, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do this many dips, and then we'll do I think we're gonna do leg raises to work on the core. And I said to Tromondae, I'm like, okay, so you go ahead and you do the dips first, and then I'll do this over here. And Tromondae was just staring at the dip bar. He's like, just looking at it. And finally I was like, you don't know what you don't know how to do a dip, do you? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That is very true.
So it didn't reference the song, "You dip, I dip, they dip, we all dip."
That's not how that song goes, but okay.
Well, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I was thinking I know the song, but is that?
It's you put your hand upon
My
my
hip.
hip.
All
When
right.
I dip, you dip.
We dip.
All right. You know this. Well, I was referencing the song. I haven't heard it in quite
Well,
a
you
long
know,
time.
in the Ronz's defense, he was referencing, so he doesn't have to be 100% accurate.
And when have I ever been 100% accurate?
Very rarely. And this is the Slaptail Squad, and I'm the Beaveman. And if you're listening to this, you're a member of the Great Slaptail Nation, and you're probably listening because you want to hear me, Master of the Universe,
I
the
would
great
agree.
and powerful, and not a poser like that Wizard of Oz bitch.
Yeah.
I'm the real deal.
Oh.
And already the Ronz is playing with his phone because
I
he's
am.
super fucking important.
It is to me.
Look at me. I'm so
Because this.
important.
Did you. Now, before I start in on you, all right? Did you hear about
Ooh,
this?
that was a threat. He's
Because
throwing
this
down
is
the threats.
this is Army time. This has been an Army Times. It was on NPR, and Carrie, who's not joining us, brought this to my attention. Special ops soldiers evade late night ninja attack at California airport. Did you hear about this?
No, why would I have heard that?
Well, because it's special ops. And okay, so it was past midnight, September 18th.
So wait a minute. So first of all, you're setting the stage as if you're going to insult me in some way. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to insult me in some way.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to bring something to your attention to that, because it's like it was past midnight, September 18th, when an identified Army staff sergeant was taking a smoke break, was approached by a ninja on some I can't pronounce.
This is
the
a great
word.
story so far.
In California. Yes, a ninja. The unknown man in full ninja garb, to include a katana sword, walked up to the staff sergeant, who was assigned to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, and asked if the soldier knew him. He replied no.
Okay, so let me shoot some holes in that already.
Mm-hmm.
If they're dressed in a ninja outfit, does that make them a ninja?
No, it doesn't. However, that's what... No. That's what
is
the story
the-
says.
Shooting holes into.
Is the sword that the ninja carries a katana?
I don't know. That's what
No.
it's reported.
No.
It is not. Everybody knows that. It's called a ninja toe.
I
It
don't
is
care.
It's a straight sword, unlike
Listen,
the katana.
it's the
that is
story
curved.
they're relaying. You and I know that it's probably something different. It doesn't really matter.
And you said that this soldier that the ninja talked to, didn't you say they were special ops or special forces?
It's right here if you want to read
I'm
it.
asking you a question. Is that what it said?
Special Operations Aviation Regiment.
There's a big difference between Special Operations Aviation Division and Special Forces. It's not
I
the same
agree.
thing.
I totally
That
agree with
particular
you.
unit is the one that you said 160, correct?
Yeah,
That's
160.
Task Force 160th. Task Force 160th is the aviation unit that flies Delta Force and all those folks around.
Understood.
That doesn't mean that they're Special Forces troops. They're the
I understand
they're
that.
the aviation flying them around.
But I never thought you... Nope. Hold on, no. I never thought that one ninja could sneak up on the army. How did this happen?
He didn't
He
sneak up on him.
probably
He
didn't
just said he
sneak-
walked up to him and
Yeah.
was talking to him.
Right?
How's that sneaking up on him?
Well, obviously he didn't know he was there, so, hey,
This is a great story. Way to insult me, Ronz.
I didn't try to insult you.
I'm so totally humbled that a
I didn't
ninja
try to-
walked up and had a conversation with
Oh,
a
he
member
did more
of
than that.
the
He
Task Force
said, do you know where my
160th
family is? And
Aviation.
he said, no. And the ninja then began to slash at the staff sergeant with his sword, striking his phone, knee, and leg. Right? The staff sergeant immediately began running through a parking lot trying to evade the unknown person. Yeah, he jumped a fence, fully taking advantage of his special operations training and entered the administration building. Right? And he began locking the doors and called 911.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, I always... I guess...
So what you're saying is, in this particular instance, the reason why you feel particularly insulted is because
No, I never
at no point did this staff sergeant try to remove the ninja's clothing and
first of
throw
all-
him in a shower.
First of all, I am not
Like
insulted,
you would have done.
but
Like
I
you would have
thought...
done.
like I would have done, no. I thought for sure that because he was known... their nickname's called the Night Stalkers. I'm pretty sure they were taught something how to defend themselves.
Okay, once again, Task Force 160th Aviation.
Okay.
And why
is
would he
not
defend
special
himself if he didn't even
forces.
feel threatened by said ninja?
That I think that once again he's not understanding what I'm saying.
Oh, I am.
Aviation is aviation, no matter what. That's not a special forces. You're not talking. It was not a Green Beret he was talking to. He was
Could have
talking
been.
to. No, you're
Yeah,
not.
but
You're
even-
not fucking
even-
listening.
even if he
I'm trying to
was-
explain to you the definitions of what you just read.
What do
to me.
you... Beaveman.
And you don't get it.
Beaveman.
This
What
is
if
like
I
saying,
said...
You're
no,
like, this is
no.
like you saying that that you as a fueler is the equivalent to your combat control team. Are you trying to say that's the same thing?
Beaveman. You
No.
need-
Now I'm bringing it. No, we're talking about Air Force now. Air
You
Force.
won't... No.
So if
First
you,
of all,
no,
hold up.
Listen,
Hold up. No.
if you're
you
doing
need
support,
to be quiet
no,
for
if
1
you're doing
second.
support, if you're support staff for
Yeah.
the pararescue or the combat control teams of the
I
Air
know.
Force,
I know.
but
I know.
you're support staff for them. You're trying to say that you're trained just like the combat
First of
control
all,
teams are.
You won't let me finish my sentence.
Oh, let's hear. Let's hear your
And I know the
genius.
difference between special operations and special forces. I agree with you on that. Right? Yeah, you're right. I'm teasing your ass, but if you have to defend yourself that bad,
No, I'm not defending. I'm
Look at
telling
him,
you
he's
that what you're
defending
saying is
himself.
ignorant.
Pew!
And that's why. And what other people are going to do is they're going to read that same story and they'll be like, "Wow, that ninja confronted a Green Beret or a Delta Force person." Like, no, they didn't.
I never said that.
No, you kept saying special ops, special ops, special. It's not the
Yeah,
same thing.
I know that too.
That's like if you do know that
You
like,
notice he hits the same point after I've agreed with him so
you do
many
know
times.
that like Delta Force, the Green Berets, Special Forces, Ranger Battalion, they all have regular staff that work there too, right? Like they
Yeah.
all have people who file their paperwork.
Yeah.
They have people who
Uh-huh.
issue them supplies. They have people
Fantastic.
who fuel their cars.
Wow.
All that other stuff. That
Great
doesn't mean
news.
that they're the same job.
I know.
I don't think you know that.
I see. When I
See-
agree with him, and I completely agree with him, by the way, I am teasing him. We all know this. But he doesn't want to let go. He's the one that wants to drag it out. And Tromondae says we need marriage counseling. So, I'm here.
Is that what you said, Tromondae?
He did.
He did. Right? It's like, I agree. You're just not letting it go. Okay, maybe it didn't go as far as I wanted to, but you're the one that dragged it
So-
out even further.
Would you have been better? It would have been a better story if he would have kicked his ass, or what?
I think so. But, hey.
Why would he need to? He probably didn't even feel threatened by the ninja.
Well, what I think is funny is if this, quote, ninja came at a guy with a katana, and this guy's smoking a cigarette, I guess if it was Ronz that he came at, Ronz would have disarmed the guy with the katana, right? Isn't that what you're saying, Ronz?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Well, what are you saying?
I would have said,
then?
what the hell is this guy in black garb standing before me?
And then you would have taken his clothes off and thrown him in the shower?
Yeah.
Derobed.
Derobed.
Let me get you out of
You-
those ninja pants.
You sound like one of those video game voices, too. It's like, fatality.
Finish him.
Let me help you out of that ninja pants.
No.
Isn't that what you were going to say, Ronz?
No, not at all. Not at
Needs a
all.
rub
Let
down.
me spill some fuel on you. That's
No.
code.
No, but one thing that came to my mind is how this guy got so far on the base or this area. If it
Don't
was...
you think he was maybe one of them?
He's
just
probably
fucking
one of
with
them
them?
fucking around, dude.
No, because the police had to subdue him, right? They used rubber bullets, I think, and then had to tase his
Use
ass.
some fuel. Use some fuel on him.
Yeah, so honestly,
Spilled some JP8 on him.
JP, well, why not? What the hell, right? So how did this guy get on that far into
I don't know.
base?
Is it a closed base? Is it an open base? Is
I
it a
don't know.
If it's not a closed base, is he a dependent of somebody else who's serving there? There's so many reasons. There's so
But
many
when they
ways you
got
can
as close as they did to
there's so many ways you can get on a
Oh, I
base.
agree with that too.
There's
but when
people.
you-
There's civilians that work on the base. There's
yeah, but in the middle of the
Tremondae,
night.
are you bored?
sure.
Anyway,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
No,
Soon.
what amazes me is when Ronz talks about these things, he talks as if he's completely oblivious of how the military works and how it is easy to be on a base. That's why I don't get. I'm like, dude, you were.
Yeah, I
Is
was.
it? Apparently, you think that it's some sort of lockdown compound that nobody can get on.
It's
when
like an
actually,
aircraft carrier out in the middle
No,
of the
well,
ocean.
You can get on base. You guys can get on base with just your driver's license. You're like, okay, I'm going on. I'd like to go on
Let's
base, please.
let's put some reality to the context here. There are certain parts of the base
Wait,
that
did you just say let's put some reality to the context?
yeah
Okay.
context of the base.
I would like
Because-
you. I would like you to put some reality to the context.
because there are certain places you can't get into unless you're authorized. We both know that.
right, but
Right, but
is that where
it
he
doesn't
was?
sound
It
like
doesn't
this
sound
was-
like
Sounds
that's what
like he
said.
was
said. It was
outside
not.
smoking a cigarette. So behind the dumpsters,
Yeah,
probably
he
not.
could have been exactly. He could have been
security.
outside a shop.
Security.
Yeah, he acts like everything on every base is like top security.
I never said that either.
This is when you're reading between the lines, like totally. Like this guy somehow got onto the Delta Force compound.
I
and was
never
talking
said that.
to
See, you notice how he takes everything so far off to the context or out of far range. This is
If
what
you could
makes the
bring some
podcast.
if you could bring some clarity to the context or something like that.
Well,
would
What
be-
clarity? You're the
reality.
one.
He has to bring some reality to
bring
it.
some reality to it.
No, I'm bringing enough reality that you're warping
Put
it.
that
You know,
on a
you.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
What? Bring some reality
Bring some
to it.
reality to it.
I like that. That's a great teacher.
Let me hit you with some knowledge.
Right? But it's one of those things where you read about it and it's like, first of all, I understand because there were smoking areas and you could get into them if you really wanted to, right? Because now not everything was all secure.
It's got to be so hard to get on, and in your lockdown mind, it's got to be so hard.
I
to
never
get onto
said
different areas.
lockdown. I never said lockdown once. You did. So quit trying to paint me into a corner where I think it's a top security base.
You see, that's what you seem to be acting like, but there's all kinds of people being
I
able
agree.
to access spaces all the time.
This is why the marriage doesn't work between us. I agree, and he keeps arguing. Right? So how would you fix us, Tromondae?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I know, that's why I asked it. But he won't acknowledge that I asked a good question.
Because it really wasn't a good question.
See?
Because it doesn't need to be fixed. Why would you fix something? It doesn't need to be fixed.
Yeah, this is why the marriage doesn't work that well.
So I'm driving down the road the other day, and I wanted to know if you guys, if you do the same thing. When you're driving down the road, we're in Michigan, for those of you listeners who are listening, and we have lots of roadkill in Michigan. Lots of it. So we commonly see deer on the side of the road. We commonly
Raccoons,
see
Yeah,
raccoons,
possums,
possums,
squirrels,
squirrels, like a
Dead
fucking
cats.
squirrel.
dead cats.
We
Sometimes, yeah.
over the past few, I'd say over the past 10 years, we've started to see turkeys just completely get obliterated on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was driving, and this is kind of a fun game of mine. You know, you just kind of acknowledge roadkills you drive by, but every once in a while, you'll see something, and you're like, "What the fuck was that?" And you get like super excited. Do you guys ever do that? Like look back and like, what was that? Like, was that a coyote? Was that a fox? What the fuck was that?
Ironically, that happened to us about last Sunday, actually.
Where's the irony in that? I just want to know.
Okay, we were driving out to South Haven. My beloved wife, who's in the next room, who
You didn't decide to lock her in the car?
No, I did not. I did
windows
not.
up.
No, because she wasn't invited to the podcast. I said you can watch me ascend to the Beaver Lodge.
What
Well, anyway,
the fuck? You
I
can
know.
watch me ascend to the Beaver Lodge.
well, what would you call this? The Beaver.
I don't.
It's
I think
okay,
I would have
it's okay.
said. I think I would have said Beaver Lodge instead of you can watch me ascend to the Beaver Lodge.
You have to be. Well, anyway, we were going out to South Haven, and we did notice the roadkill, but we also noticed as we were driving there was a black bag in the middle of the road moving around, and it looked like someone had thrown out an animal in it, like a kitten or a puppy or something.
What was your first indicator? The fact that the bag was moving?
Yeah, actually, it was. And
It's like so super sleuth. You're like fucking Sherlock Holmes.
there you go. And I'm going along, and my beloved wife says, "What do you think that was?" I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully, it wasn't. Because people
You're
are
like,
cruel.
I don't know. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I'm like, I don't know, but people are cruel. It could be anything.
The wind.
The wind, anything. But it was moving around like there was an animal trapped inside. So I
So in
thought,
the 1/16th of a second that you saw.
Let's take a poll. Did they stop? Did
Oh, no,
Ron
no.
stop?
I
You
it.
already
No,
answered-
because he didn't
No.
have his
Yes.
black belt.
I didn't stop until I was like a mile or so down the road, and I turned around and
And
went back for it.
and
And
see,
why?
I told you he was going to.
Was it a baby?
No, and everybody was avoiding it, so hopefully there was nothing in it.
So you didn't check?
Oh, I did.
Oh, and what
I
was
went
in
back
it?
to it, and I
so
pulled off
so
to
he
the
just
side.
said, so hopefully there was nothing in it. So
Yeah. So
I
what
wanted
was
to
in
know.
it? So what was in it?
Intrigued, So
What was
So
in
I
the
got
bag?
up to it. It was still moving around. I got the bag into my car.
what?
Why would you?
Why would you put it
it's
in
a
your
freaking
car? Why can't you-
badger.
Well, hold
It's
on,
a
hold on.
badger.
Well,
You know what's in
fucking-
the
hold
car?
on, hold on.
Tasmanian devil.
Fucking
Tasmanian
honey
devil.
badger,
Hold on.
yeah.
I jumped ahead one step.
Oh.
I got it behind
No,
my
wait.
car. I opened it up, and it turned out to be an empty beer can that someone threw out in a plastic bag that was caught with the wind in the traffic.
mhm.
But I didn't.
10
want...
cents. That's 10 cents.
There you go,
folks.
10 cents. But I really didn't want to leave. You hear all sorts of cruelty things done to animals, so I'd rather be wrong in this case than right.
I don't
So-
think that's the case. I think what happens is you've got some sort of sick fantasy in your head that you want to be a hero.
Well, I think everybody wants to be a hero, but no one
you
wants.
actively pursue that. Like you actually look for it.
No,
No, I feel like that's what you do.
no, I don't.
Because you're always telling the stories like I was at the grocery store and this person was getting loud and so I just had to hang around. Like, oh, what the fuck?
no, you're taking that out of that. My wife and I were in the store. They were
Wait a
between
minute.
us and the exit.
Was this your wife or your lovely wife? Because there might be two different wives.
Yeah. Keep in mind she's in the next room, because she can't be out here and ascend to the Beaver Lodge. So anyway, I don't look for the opportunity. I really don't.
I feel like you do.
But when it presents itself, I'm gonna.
Get your ass kicked?
Well, yeah, if I have to. It's like the guy who
Be a
crashed.
victim?
Oh, it's sort of like the guy that crashed the car.
Be a victim?
I mean,
we don't have to hear that story again.
no, you don't. But if there's an animal that needs rescuing, my wife's an animal lover. I mean, I'm going to do the right thing. I don't think it's wrong.
That's a movie,
It is, isn't it?
Yep.
Right, what movie is it?
Do the right thing.
Oh, Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee, isn't it?
It is.
Why are you looking at me like I know that?
Shocked.
Why?
Do you know who? Well, I should say who Spike Lee was, but
Spike
the
Lee
movie
is a really good director. In fact, he was the foremost in African American culture, along with Mario Van Peebles. Who was his father?
Van Peebles.
What?
Van Peebles?
Didn't he just recently pass away?
Van Peebles?
I don't think that's his name. I know you're making fun, but he was also a pioneer in movies. He just passed away. But anyway, that's what it is.
But I
Wait,
digest.
are you going to go back to your story now?
What was
Yes.
my story?
That you were driving in the car about roadkill.
Oh, roadkill.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I would look back and I was just wondering as I was doing it, because we're so used to seeing the same kind of animals, if you see something that's abnormal, do you do a double take on it and then get really curious about it? Because, unfortunately we do see dogs and cats and we're like, that makes me sad automatically. But sometimes you see something, I'm like, was that a fucking chupacabra? What the fuck was that?
No,
Michigan,
I
a
think lots of
chupacabra.
people do that. Like, when we were in nursing school, I was driving around with my boyfriend's little brother in the car, and he was just a kid, and he was like, it was a dead something, I don't know, possum, and he's like, wouldn't it be cool if that was an armadillo? I'm like, that's just random.
when you drive through Missouri and Texas and all that stuff, they're all over the fucking place.
Yeah, he's like,
I was like, armadillo. Like every few feet, you're like, what the fuck? These poor armadillos, man.
I guess you get so used to it in Michigan when you see raccoon, deer, possum. You know.
Yeah, but my question was, if you see something that's out of the norm, because we're so attuned to seeing stuff all the time, but if you see something different, you're like, what was that?
that was a chicken.
And then all day you're kind of excited. You're like, dude, I saw this on the. You'll tell other people, I'm like, dude, I saw this fucking. Pretty sure it was a coyote. Pretty sure it was a fox.
Yeah, I guess if little things amuse you, that'd be fantastic. I mean, it's
Well,
like...
plastic bags amuse you.
Yeah, well, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, you know, and then you get to drive in these different places. Like I said, when I drove through Texas, I saw armadillos all over the place, which to me was like, holy shit. Well, one, I was sad because I'm like, that poor majestic creature. But then when I was driving through Arizona, elk.
Yeah, that's not good.
Can you imagine hitting a fucking
That would be bad.
elk?
Yeah.
When I
But
lived
yeah, saw him on the side of the road.
when I lived up in Maine, you had moose alerts.
Okay,
Pretty
did
sure
you
that
see a dead moose on the side of the road ever?
Not sure if I did. I don't think I did.
I'm pretty sure you would know if you did, because then that would have been the first thing you said in the story. You're like,
Holy
I
shit,
saw
there's a
a
dead
fucking
moose."
full-on dead moose on the
Yeah.
side of the road that somebody had hit. Of course, God rest their soul, they're fucking dead.
Usually the moose wind up destroying the vehicles and living.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
No, you said God rest their soul. I thought you were talking about the moose.
No,
No.
The people.
the
The
people.
people. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
so
that
speak-
friend that we had that totaled their camper because they hit an elk or a moose, whatever it was. They were driving home from.
I feel like
us.
it's someone you know, most likely not a friend of mine because I don't have that many
No,
friends.
it's someone you know. It's the people who brought their camper over that we borrowed.
Okay, but again, not my friends.
Okay, well, anyway, they were driving home and they totaled their freaking camper
You can
because
tell
they
why
hit
this
a
marriage
moose
doesn't work
or...
because, hello, we don't have friends. You do
No, that's not what I
me.
said. I said, I don't. She does. I knew it was exactly not one of my friends because I'm like, what one of my 3 or 4 friends
I don't have any friends.
hit a fucking moose or an elk or a caribou?
Yeah.
I
And
don't
the
think
answer
Caribou
was
mentioned.
None of them, because you
none
don't
of
have
them,
any
'cause I don't
friends.
have any. So if you're driving along the Serengeti, are you going to see like
Dead zebras.
dead zebras and
Yeah.
hippopotamani?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Bye.
Kangaroos, that would be
Hip-hop?
fucked up.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Do you think if you were
That's from a
nicer,
movie.
you'd probably have more friends?
No.
Okay.
What were
Absolutely
you going to
not.
say, Tromondae?
Oh, so just like we were speaking about animals, like I was watching this show about like how deadly kangaroos can be.
Oh yeah. Did
Like-
you
They'd punch you in the face.
fucking punch? Did you see that one where that guy went toe to toe with one?
Yeah,
Where he had the kangaroo had his dog in a
yeah,
chokehold and the dude's
yeah.
like, fucking jacked that kangaroo. I was like, dude, that's
Like,
fucking
knocked
awesome.
him out.
I would be terrified to even stand on the other side of a fence with a kangaroo. Like, just seeing what they can do. No thanks.
So what can
It's
they
their
do?
it's their feet, man. You gotta
Yeah.
watch out for the feet.
They got some big feet.
And then their tails are, yeah.
Get eaten, though.
Dangerous. People eat kangaroos.
I don't know, probably.
I don't
Why
know.
not?
I don't know. That's kind of gross.
Yeah. But going back to your story about like being a hero, sometimes I have like those moments when I'm like out for a run and I'm like, how cool would it be
You
if
run?
I get to walk?
Focus.
Thank you for
Focus.
Okay.
Focus.
or more of a bike ride, I should say. And I'm like, how cool would it be like if I saw like
He's slowly changing. You know, if you run, walk, bike ride.
I mean,
okay, I'm not
and
gonna
I'm in
lie.
my car on my
Okay,
way
I'm
to
not gonna
Taco
lie.
Bell.
I'm not gonna lie. I was
All
just
of those
picking up.
things.
I was just picking up the mail in my car. I'm not
all
really
of
gonna
those
lie.
things. All of those things. And like, how cool would it be like if I like saw something and like was able to like save someone's life because like
It happens to Swan all the time. She's always saving people's lives. Haven't you heard her stories?
No, not really.
I don't like to tell those stories.
She didn't like to brag.
I don't. I hate getting in that situation.
Well, no,
of saving someone.
Yeah.
It's-
like,
you know,
I feel like I do enough of that at work that I don't
No,
want
you
to.
don't because your
Not
job, you
anymore,
don't
but
do
I
that
used
stuff.
to.
Your job.
I've-
is you're
not now.
You know.
No, I
Sometimes
have.
it's a real burden having to clip someone's nails and saving their lives.
No, just the other day I saved my patient. They came
How much
in.
money
don't
from
care.
Geico?
Don't want to hear the story. I want to hear
What?
what Tremont
How much money from Geico?
None.
No,
None.
Progressive?
None.
None?
None.
Okay.
No. My one patient came in
No,
and they were
don't
all
care.
disoriented. and I took them downstairs. They had freaking
Okay, but
COVID.
was that you saving their life?
Yeah.
That was you saving their life.
What if they didn't get...
I guess your definition
Other
and
people
my
would have sent him
definition of
home,
saving their
and he
life
would have
are
freaking died.
You know, I've actually like full on.
See, Tremonti,
saved
this
Yeah,
is
so
really
have
cool
I.
because the
full
focus
on,
is off.
I mean,
of me.
I've full on by myself saved lives.
Okay,
So have I.
But
so-
do I sit there? But do I
No,
go?
I don't
I've
do
saved
that
so many
either.
lives.
Okay, you two. Tremonti, how can you save this marriage?
It's
all
not
good.
broken.
Yeah. See?
It's not broken.
It's healthy arguments.
It's healthy arguments.
If this is the Swan's definition of saving someone's life, you know. So I saw this was a situation, and I directed this person where to go.
Exactly.
Save their life.
Exactly.
Save their life.
Bonus for me.
Bonus.
You know, I completely.
As the grenade went off, and I grabbed that troop and lifted him up with one arm and put him back aside. That pretty much, I'm pretty sure that was saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
Not, I referred this person to the emergency room.
I don't know. That COVID could spread pretty damn fast from what I
But what did
understand.
she actually do to save the person's
She
life?
didn't. She saved the population.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
There
you know,
go.
one person infected spreads out, kills the population. She saved your life, and you should be damn well grateful she did so. But to answer your question, because when the opportunity arises, will you know what to do?
Well, you won't.
I
Because, no, you won't know because you'll be spending too much time getting out your black belt and trying to tie it on.
Hold on. Or stripping him
I'm
down.
coming.
I'm
Stripping
going,
him
yeah,
down.
you're right. I will probably carry a black belt guy. Go, okay, hold on. I got to put it on. And you got to make sure it's right.
I think that we should really change your uniform and make it. Remember those things that those safeties wore in school? I think that's what you should have. You should have one of those. That safety belt, you know, that goes across your
Oh,
chest.
yeah,
and
yeah,
your
yeah,
waist.
yeah.
Or the black belt that just clips together like that. Like,
No, it has to be some sort of construction color. It shouldn't be black.
no? Okay.
No.
Well, you know, it could have a black buckle on it or something.
It's because you're so invested in just being a black belt. It's like your thing. It's like your identity.
Maybe it could be black, but it could be like my running vest that has a light up neon
No.
thing in it.
No.
No?
I'm gonna get him something completely ridiculous to wear.
Okay. That's not ridiculous. My light up running belt. that
Oh, it is
flashes.
ridiculous, but I want it even more ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
You know, I love how you paint me to be this homophobic, racist black belt.
What?
You brought that up all on your own.
What?
I refer back to
What
when...
does this have to do with wearing a
Did you
safety
know that
belt?
gay people
Yeah.
can have children?
Yeah, exactly.
Not only
And
gay
now
people,
it's like,
but
now,
gay black people.
now I have to wear the safety belt to let everybody know I'm the special needs black belt kid.
Can you wear a helmet too?
Jeez.
I'd like to know what that has to do with you being a homophobe.
And then I'm trying to figure out where did the special needs part come in. Like, you're just making it worse for yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I could either just sit here and be quiet, or I could try to defend
does
myself.
your
and-
wife tie your shoes in the morning, or do
She
you
does.
do that yourself?
She does. She does. And you know, without her, I wouldn't be here. She drove.
Oh God!
She drove
She drove
because
me here
she
because-
drove because I'm not
because-
allowed
because
to
I'm not
drive between the hours of only to and from work.
It's not that I'm a criminal. It's just that I'm completely inept.
Great, yeah, right. Not that I'm
I
feuding.
have night blindness, day blindness, sensory deprivation issues.
Yeah, you guys are making me out to be a total dick.
No, not a dick. Just
Just totally
You,
inept.
you do that on your own
Just
when you
pathetic-
told us you're going to
pathetic
leave your
and
wife
sad.
in the car.
No, you know what? Just the text, the way you sound, it's like spouses are invited, but they're not invited to the podcast. I'm like, what a dick move.
That's
But
not
I
a dick
No,
move.
that's not
It's not
even.
a dick move.
But you said it even. They're not on going to be on the podcast.
let me refer to.
And then you were the one that said, "I'll just leave her in the car." Then,
I
Yeah.
did say that. You are
like,
exactly
we
right.
didn't mean she had to stay in the car.
Oh, you didn't mean that.
No.
Just specifying that they're not on the podcast.
Oh, so where am I going to keep my lovely wife if can't bring her in? It's like
Nobody said you couldn't bring her in.
No, yeah.
Nobody said that.
But I love whoever.
So he
said,
just made her drive here and sit in the car.
Yeah.
I think it was, make sure you raise the windows down and leave her the key. I thought that.
Yeah, hilarious. Hey, by the way, speaking of roadkill and all those things,
All those things.
and speaking of the expert running that Tromondae was doing, did you guys
Yeah,
know?
Walking.
Right.
Bike
Did you
riding.
guys know? Did you guys know that the Swan is an athlete?
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. What
Yeah,
do you mean?
the Swan is the definition of an athlete. Not my definition of an athlete. Not only is she, she's athletic and she's an athlete. Apparently, your accolades in high school translate to the entire rest of your life.
So, before we continue on this, I can step in and deflect the crap that's going to head your way, or you can take it.
Oh,
Your
can
choice.
you? Because by the Swan's definition,
Here it comes.
the Ronz is also an athlete.
I never
Don't worry,
said
you're gonna
that.
get your own Ronz.
Yeah, apparently I have. What defines an athlete?
Well, that's a good question. Swan, what defines an athlete? I'd like to
No,
know your take on this.
You think that people who are athletes have to be elite athletes, like Olympic runners or
I would consider you and
NBA
Beaveman
stars.
and Tromondae
If
athletes.
you could just let her answer the question that I just asked before you just immediately start talking.
Oh, apparently you think I give a fuck. So, I think that... you guys have done the Tough Mudders thing, so you guys...
Yeah, but I don't think that you have to be very athletic to do that. I mean,
I don't know. The way the Beatman described it, the way you guys have also described it, it's like you got to be in somewhat decent shape to run that
I
thing.
don't think we
my
even
grandma
described
could run
it.
the Tough Mudder.
I don't really feel
Could
like we even
finish the
described
Tough
this.
Mudder.
What did we describe about it? Anytime I've ever described it, I said you don't even have to do all the events. You can
But
walk
did you guys
around
do all
them.
the events?
Of
Yeah.
course we did.
Yeah,
We're not
see?
going to pansy out and do
There you
it
go.
half-assed.
I-
If I want to do something, I'm going to do it well.
Yeah,
I don't
and
want to
you guys
half-ass.
Can
trained
she
for this.
explain what an athlete is? Can she go ahead and you're fucking with what I'm trying to do.
Apparently.
Yeah, you're trying to make fun of me. Let me walk right into that shit.
Hey, I'm only doing what I
No,
can.
by
to-
Swan's
set
definition.
myself.
No, and first of all, you're contradicting what I said. What I said was no. Even if you're in high school and you're doing a high school sport, you are a level of a high school athlete. You
Yeah.
are not an athlete.
Why
you
not?
are not athletic.
See, why am I not athletic?
Because athletic would mean that you are in actual training or in shape to play an athletic sport, which you are not.
Not at the
and
current
to be an
moment.
athlete, you have to also compete, which you do not do. So you are therefore not an athlete and therefore not athletic.
I think she could bowl. That's a sport, and you'd be
I don't
athletic.
wanna
She
bowl.
could, but she doesn't. That's the point. She does not compete.
So
Period.
I trained and ran marathons, but I'm not an athlete.
And were you competitive?
Yeah.
Locally, were you competitive
So
on a
what?
grand
Does that
scale?
matter?
Yes, it does.
No,
That's the
it
point that I'm
doesn't.
making. If
I got-
if I go and I do let's say I do a powerlifting competition
Uh-huh.
in my hometown where I grew up, where 6 people are going to
Uh-huh.
also compete, and I take first prize, is that equivalent to me going to the World Championships of powerlifting?
Probably not, but you still are athletic and competed and you won.
I agree. I totally agree with that. That
Like,
makes her
you're
athletic.
trying
So
to
then,
say
Ron,
that
you're
everybody
also-
who
so then
is
you're
an
also
elite
an athlete.
You're trying
I
to
would
say
agree.
everybody who is
Athlete.
an athlete needs to be an elite athlete.
No, what I said was, and what I'll say to you again is, it depends on what level you're at. Is a high school athlete a comparison to an Olympic athlete? No, not necessarily, but they are in high school, and by definition, they are a high school athlete because they are training and they are competing. I didn't say that they're athletic, because not all of them are, but they're still an athlete. You, on the other hand, are not an athlete. You're not athletic. You don't compete. You don't train to compete. So you're not an athlete, but yet you insist that you are. Are you fit? Well, not now.
I
Probably go
think she's
fuck
fit.
yourself.
Yo!
Because you definitely ain't gonna be getting them later.
And was I planning on it? So
Nope.
it's not gonna hurt not gonna hurt
Nope.
me in any way.
So
You
I
know
wonder
what?
if there is a difference between being an athlete and being athletic.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Well, why you say that?
Well, because the way the B-Man says, it's like, if you're going to be athletic, right, you can train to be that athletic. I mean, in some capacity, you walk
Are
in the
you
right...
so? Are you defining? Are you providing us a definition just by saying the different forms of the word athlete over and over again instead
Well,
of actually
if you-
defining it?
Well, because you're not getting none, go fuck yourself. So let me finish here. Wow, this is what lack of sleep does to me. It just brings out the dickhead side of me. I don't like it. So anyway, you train, right?
I don't think you need to point at us while you talk.
Okay, you're right. You walk you ride your bike. So if you ride and walk, whatever, to Taco Bell or whatever you want to go to, are you considered an athletic? Yeah, if it's over a mile away. Carrie rides your bike 5 miles.
See, now you see how ridiculous your definition is,
Hold
because
on.
he's agreeing with you, and he's like literally saying that if you walk to Taco Bell, you're athletic.
No, I don't think I agree with that definition.
Okay, well, let
I
me
mean,
finish
he's-
though.
'Cause
he's
if you're
basically
taking a
he's defending
leisurely
the same thing
bike
that you're
ride,
saying.
is
He's
that-
basically saying that if you have a pulse and you do something more than just walk to the mailbox,
Did I
you're
say that?
athletic. That's
Did
basically
I
what your
say
definition
that?
is, which supports her definition.
Would you let me finish? Carrie rides her bike 5 miles.
And so now you're going to say she's athletic because she rides her bike.
Would you let me finish? Because
Oh,
you
I
ain't
can't
getting none from me either, right? So if you ride
Thank
your
You're not his type.
right, so if you exhibit athleticism, right, to a certain level, like you're a martial artist, would you say you're athletic in that?
No.
I would. I've seen what you can do.
That
Right.
doesn't make me... Okay, please
But
go ahead.
if you want to compete at a competition level, right, you'd have to be almost like an athlete. Athletic and athlete are two different things.
See, I don't think so. Because I think in order to be an athlete, for one, you don't have to be athletic because it depends at what level you're competing. Like I said, high school athletes, are they all athletic? No, not necessarily. But they are, by definition, athletes because they're competing.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be a real, true athlete at our age, we would have to be athletic. In order
So
to be athletes.
let's just take my friend James then, who you know who I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
The guy who does those videos. Is he an athlete? Is he
Yeah.
athletic?
Yeah.
But he doesn't do a sport. He's not.
He played,
Oh, yeah!
he
Booyah!
played amateur football.
Yeah, he played. He's not playing it now. So, but
Yeah,
is he
what
an
you
athlete?
gonna say about that?
Would I say, well, then I guess not.
Well, you
But he's
just-
athletic.
So you just said yes and then now a no.
Well, I didn't know he wasn't competing anymore.
No, he's
So
not.
if he's not competing anymore, he's not an athlete.
But he still could do all of that stuff and
But
still
is he?
practices it and coaches it
But
and
is he?
trains others to do it.
But
so
is
he's
he?
not athletic and he's not an
No,
athlete.
he's athletic, but he's not an athlete.
Isn't that what it is?
So you have to be actively playing whatever sport that you're doing to be an athlete.
Am I going to have to, like, look up the definition
Yeah,
of
apparently.
athlete for you?
Apparently,
or-
because I would still think he's a football athlete. He played semi-pro football.
Okay, so if you've been retired for 50 years and you don't play anymore, you're still an athlete?
Sure, you're now a retired athlete, but you're still an athlete.
And so, by your definition, then, because you swam in high school, swimming, you were
Yeah.
a swimmer, that you're for life are an athlete.
Yes.
Okay. And there's something wrong with me because I think that your
And
definition is wrong.
And I think I'm kind of on the same page with you. Like, I played tennis in high school,
Well,
but,
you're an athlete, Tromondae.
but by
You
no
are.
means do I think
But
I'm
could
an
you
at-
could you pick it back up again and do it if you changed yourself for a little bit?
I don't know. Could
be-
you speak into the microphone?
I might be able to.
So I feel like if I do, then that puts me back in the position of being an athlete, because like I feel like an athlete is what you do, like is what you're doing currently. So if I choose to step away from it, I still may be athletic, but I don't necessarily say, oh yeah, I'm still an athlete, because I'm not competing in nothing that's
So
a competition.
a competition.
I run 4 times a week, but so I'm not an athlete.
No.
Why not?
So
So
you
I
have
guess
to
if
be
you
athletic.
want to be an athlete, knock yourself out.
Okay,
So
I'm going to
here's
be.
what it says: Do you have to be an athlete? Do you have to be athletic to be an athlete? Absolutely not. Merriam-Webster
Yeah, I already said
defines
that.
the term athlete as a person who is trained or skilled in exercises, sports, or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina. So you can be athletic, but not an athlete. So
And
Over
an
to Swan.
athlete, but not athletic, because that's what you just said.
yeah, exactly. So,
So sure.
there you go.
I think you're neither.
By the way, I love how you counsel. I was watching. You're like, while they were arguing, you were doing this.
Because he was thinking about how he could agree with me without agreeing with me to make Swan mad. He's sitting there, he's going, I totally agree with everything the Beaveman's saying,
I
but
think
how can
Tromondae's
I?
going to give you his non-biased opinion. He's not going to take your side if it's not right.
He might.
Swan, how
He's
wrong
not.
you are.
He's
How
not.
wrong
You know-
you are.
Are you vying for the Tromondae's loyalty here? This is good. Who's he loyal to? You?
He's
Or the Beaveman.
he's neutral. He'll be loyal to both.
But he's more neutral evil than neutral good.
No, I don't think so.
I do.
Who's the better?
dun dun dun.
All right, well, I don't think you're an athlete.
Okay.
I think you're an athlete. I really
Of course you do. You think everybody's an athlete. You think you're an athlete.
do. I do. Why not?
Okay, why are you
So
why are you an athlete?
Because I said so. What more the hell
No,
do you
I want to
need?
know how you're an athlete. Please explain it to me.
I don't need to. I'm just me.
Well, then that's not good for the show, Ron.
Oh,
if you're
that's
just gonna,
okay.
If
Well,
you're gonna sit there and
do
be
I
like,
think
no,
I'm
I
an
don't need to."
athlete? No, I don't.
Well,
I
you
use-
just said that you
well,
were.
hold on. I can flip.
He has
flop
bacon and eggs on his socks. He has to be.
Oh,
an
you saw
athlete.
those? Yeah.
Coffee on your
Socks,
shirt.
but that's-
Yeah, coffee, bacon, and eggs. Do I think I'm an athlete? At some point, I did. But not anymore.
At what point was it that you thought you were an athlete? When did you think you were an athlete?
Well, I let me redefine. I thought I was athletic, not an athlete.
Yep.
Athletic.
Okay, that's
So, when I was training for Shodan, my first degree black belt, I was running at least.
fine. I was running
I was running 3 or 4 times a day.
3 or 4 times a day.
Oh no, I'm sorry, 3 or 4 times a week,
Oh,
if not
okay.
more. I was dieting, exercising constantly, and working out. Right, so I was very athletic.
And so does that make? See, I still don't buy that. I don't agree with that. I say that's being fit. See, athletic is a totally different thing in my
So
mind.
okay, athlete in your mind. Go ahead, give us.
Yeah,
who-
yeah.
No,
who's an
I already
athlete
said what
then?
an athlete
Yeah.
was, but I don't think you guys are understanding my definition of athletic.
And why would we?
I don't know because I keep explaining it, but I don't think you guys
So
get it.
you have to play. So baby swan.
Okay, listen.
Baby swan,
Listen.
athletic.
Baby Swan is an athlete, first
Okay,
of all.
'cause she's
and
actively playing
she's
sports?
athletic. In other words, you don't have to be
But she's
athletic.
an athlete at a high school level.
He's
I
gonna
guess
kill
nobody
you.
wants me to explain that.
We do. We want you to explain it.
I'll be quiet.
She
Go ahead.
is a high school athlete, but not only is she a high school athlete, but she's also athletic. Are other people who are high school athletes athletic? Not necessarily, just like the definition he read. She, on the other hand, performs at an athletic level. There's a difference
Okay.
because she's in good shape, she's good at the sport, she has natural ability for it, so she is athletic.
So you saying I have no natural ability?
Uh-oh. Tromondae
Oh,
has
this
to
gets
weigh
even
in.
better. This gets even better. Oh, go ahead, Tremai. What were we?
Because if I'm hearing you correctly, being athletic is more than just like your physical capabilities. It's your mental understanding of what it is that you are doing, how you are engaging.
yeah,
in it,
and your
mental
actual
understanding
skill, and your actual skill level, and your actual prowess. in
Yes,
it.
yes, which
So-
doesn't just happens in the weight room. It also happens understanding the game on the court.
Right. Yeah. So and ability, like natural
Yes,
and
yep.
actual natural ability for the sport or prowess in the sport. Now, if you took me in high school baseball, I was a high school athlete, but I was not athletic. In other words, I was pretty decent, but not. Did I excel, or was I even above average? Therefore, I was not a. I did not have athletic
Is
prowess.
that kind
in
of
that
like your
sport.
guitar playing skills?
No, that's not even remotely good. That's you can't. You can't even say anything good about that.
Oh, I'm just wondering.
You hold it nicely.
There's some technical. I mean, there is some technical skill there in my mind, but other than that, there is nothing. No,
Okay.
I mean, I have a nice guitar. I have two
Okay.
nice guitars. But
Okay.
Is there any actual?
But
skill
you're
there?
not a
No.
musician.
No.
But
No, to him he is.
no, I'm just because it goes the same way. Like you're musically inclined. Are you musically inclined?
Not with the guitar.
So and you're not a musician. So pretty much not that with the guitar.
I don't know. I mean, you have to have some sort of dexterity when you're playing.
Right. If you played well,
So he's
Which I
admitting
don't.
he's saying he doesn't
which I
play
don't.
well.
So the dexterity really doesn't matter.
Hand-eye coordination.
Which
Yeah,
he
really.
also doesn't have.
Which I also clearly don't have because I don't play well. Anyway.
Anyway,
Or the level of understanding. I can't. So even if, let's say that I played proficiently. I played the guitar proficiently. I could pick it up, I could play. If I don't understand music theory, then I'm not a true musician either. Because that's what actually makes a true musician. Understanding theory and understanding, why I could actually transpose this music to this. I could transpose piano music to guitar music. That will make me a well-rounded musician. Just being able to pick up on the guitar, are you a natural musician? Do you have natural skill at it? Yes. But are you by definition a true musician? Probably not.
I get that.
okay.
There has to be some sort of understanding and skill proficiency and not just being able to
Yeah.
go through the motion.
I get that. That makes sense.
Even people that can pick up a guitar and play by ear, eventually, what do they eventually learn how to do? They eventually, most of them, not all of them, but eventually they learn how to write music. They learn how to understand different instruments and how they fit in with what they're playing. all those different aspects of it. Not everybody just continuously goes throughout their whole life and just plays by ear.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other way, where you watch like a kid learn and they can play it technically proficient, but it doesn't sound musical because it's totally rigid because they don't
Sure.
give it the flow of music.
Sure. But anyway, so you're saying that you were in shape. That's what I'm saying. My definition of athletic is not the same as your guys's.
And
Athletic means that I have this natural ability as it translates to my athletic event that I'm doing. I'm skilled and proficient. I'm better than other people in my field. I am above average, therefore I am athletic.
Can we go
but
back
aren't
to...
you the master of all in the Beaveman universe?
I am, but this is my universe, and I do not choose to
He
be
doesn't
an
want anybody
athlete.
else to be the best in his universe.
Okay.
So I did it. I'm going to compare back to the triathlon that I did. I got second place in my age group in this small town. Yes, but
okay.
still, that's pretty damn good for never
how
doing
many
it.
people did it?
I don't know, 500. I don't know, something
Okay,
like
but
that.
how many were your age?
More than 12.
I
Okay,
will say
so
that-
you shut the fuck up.
up.
Well,
But then you
she's
put it-
trying to make a point.
But
and
then
so
you
I'm
put it
trying to
in,
clarify her point.
and I was in the top third of everybody's finishing. So
Okay,
I
but-
think that's still pretty damn good.
And so does that make you competitive in
Yes.
does that make you competitive in a triathlon that has 5,000 people in it?
Maybe. My marathon had several thousand people in it, and I was in the top third of that one in the first marathon
A top
I did.
third.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
out
how
of
many
men
people
and
in
women.
the top third? How many people
1/3?
were there though? How many people were there?
500? I don't know.
So what's a third of 500?
200, 170?
So out of 200 people, you think that that's competitive?
Yeah.
Out of 200 people?
Out of 2,000 people to be in the top third? Yeah, why not?
Because I still don't consider that high markings. I mean, I still don't consider that amazing and awesome. Were you in the top 10?
No.
Were you in the top 5?
No.
Well, she wasn't.
Did you do it at all? No.
No, but I also don't care.
Okay then.
But I would consider that very athletic.
Of
and
course, you
athlete.
consider walking to Taco Bell athletic.
Who doesn't?
You already said that.
It depends on how far Taco Bell is, but I mean, you trained for that, and you came in wherever. I mean, wow, that's a major accomplishment versus someone who sits on the sidelines and bitches about.
Yeah.
Are you athletic or an athlete? Honestly, if they didn't go out there and compete with you, they don't have a right to say it.
Sure,
that's
I do.
that's an
Yeah,
armchair
I do.
quarterback.
I have my right to say whatever I want to say.
Oh, you do, but it doesn't count. But
does.
It's an armchair quarterback. It's like you yelling at the coach to make another play from your house when they're in wherever.
No, how's that? I didn't tell her how to do it. All I'm saying is she's not an athlete.
Well,
and she wasn't competitive.
You're criticizing her for doing
if she goes and
something
does
you
that,
didn't do.
okay, she goes and does that in a snapshot of the population of 50,000 people.
It's still that she
and
did it.
What?
And
Okay,
so
but
in
again, no.
50,000
But see,
people, if
you're-
I made
you're
the
saying-
top third, does that make
saying-
me an athlete then?
No, the top third. How
Well-
many people? Okay, so as the number gets bigger, Swan,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Here, let me shock you. As the number gets bigger, so
Yeah.
does the number of the people in the top third.
So they're
Uh-huh.
obese. Big deal.
Uh-huh. But they still are competitive.
Okay, if it's 50,000 people and you're in the top 10, that's impressive.
I always do.
If there's 50,000 people and you finished in the top third, is that amazing?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Oh my God! Do you not understand numbers?
I do understand numbers, but still finishing in the top third of any of that, even as big as it gets, is still impressive.
Oh, okay. Let's make it just an easier number. Let's say there's 30,000 people. That means the top third. That means that 10,000 people are in the top third, Amethyst.
Uh-huh.
So you
Just
think
a
it's
little?
a big deal? You think it's amazing that you could
Yes.
be number 10,000?
That would still
So-
be fine with me, because
so-
I'm still better than 20,000 other people.
understand numbers.
So, B-Men, let's face it. Obviously, you're at odds with the competition. What competition would you consider athletic and where you would come in
I wouldn't because I'm not an athlete. Oh my god!
I didn't
and I'm
say.
not
I
athletic.
said, what would you?
And that's why he has poor self-esteem, folks.
No, I say, what would you?
I-
Hypothetical. What
No,
would be?
let me ask you this question. Why?
Oh,
do you
yeah,
think,
yeah. Let's flip it on
Why
me.
do you think that question has any bearing on what we're saying right now? You're asking the person who doesn't think that they're an athlete or athletic what sport he would be athletic in.
Yeah, I am. Because,
I'm not an athlete.
oh, we know that. You keep
then why
shouting
are you?
that.
Then why are you asking me that question?
Because I figured pretty much you won't answer it.
Because there's the answer
There's no
is
answer.
because there's no answer, you dumb fuck.
Oh, really? No. You noticed, I was listening to the
There's
previous
no
podcast.
answer because you just
I
had
was
to-
listening to the previous podcast, and he would not be quiet. The more I had an opinion that was right, the louder he got.
But your
Because
opinion's not right.
it doesn't matter whether I'm right or not. But the more I figured out, like, when I wanted to say something, he would get louder. Finally, if you listen to the last podcast, I said, shut the fuck up. And I thought, what if I backed him into a corner? Would he fight like a rabid raccoon? And sure enough, he has been fighting like a rabid
Because
raccoon
you haven't been
in a
right
corner.
yet.
It doesn't matter.
Was your question logical at all? I've just been saying this whole time that I'm not an athlete and I'm not athletic, and you're like, well, what sport would you be an athlete in?
Would
I'm like,
you be?
None.
Okay, so-
because I'm not an athlete, you dumb motherfucker.
I
Do you
know
not get
that.
it? Why don't
No.
you ask the Swan because she thinks she's an athlete? Why don't you ask her what?
I
sport
already
she
know
would
what
be?
she'd be good in.
What was that?
Putting up with your BS.
That's not being an athlete.
It is if you got to dodge it half
It's
the
a
time.
skill.
It's a skill. No, the thing is, it's a hypothetical question. If you were
No, it's not a hypothetical question. It's an imagination question.
What the hell's a hypothetical
That's living
question, then?
in fantasy land, which is what Swan's doing because she thinks she's an athlete.
Okay, what's the difference between imaginary and hypothetical?
I would say that
Unicorns
hypothetical.
and-
Hypothetical could be true.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Imaginary could be true.
Well, by definition, then why would it be imaginary?
It'd be hypothetical.
No.
Oh boy.
No.
So we'll just let this die and lie where it is.
No, because this is what I was talking about. Why would we let it die? Why would you let it die? I don't
Like
think
his
you understand.
roadkill.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand how a podcast works. You're like, oh, let's just finish this topic.
Well, no.
So I think that a person can be athletic and not necessarily be an athlete.
I agree.
Because a person can possibly train and do something, and a person may possibly compete once every year, but then just because you compete, I don't necessarily think that means that you are an athlete either. Just because you may compete one time, an athlete, I feel as though it is something that it is what you do, it is what you practice daily. Just as a doctor, once you retire, you can still say I'm a doctor, but people are still going to question like, are you a doctor? And at some point, you're going to say no, because I can provide you any service.
Yeah, I don't practice anymore.
I don't practice anymore. So, I think there is a difference for me as well.
I would say the B-Man's athletic, but not an athlete, because we see videos of the challenge he gives us. Right?
I agree.
So, I would consider him an athlete, but I'd consider him very athletic.
See, okay.
Well, he
Then
doesn't think
by
he's
my
either.
definition, by my own personal definition, I am not athletic. Am I fit? Sure, a little bit, but not athletic. Because to me, athletic means that I have some sort of athletic pursuit, some sort of skilled athletic competition that I'm.
Well, you don't have to
But
necessarily be competition.
Yeah, in some ways you do though, and I think when I think about athletes, I think we put all the sports into one and thinking that person can, but you can just narrow down to just one. So the fact that you can do the fitness things that you can do, I think that makes you athletic.
Thank you.
Running
very much.
makes her athletic.
No.
He just wants to argue about me.
No, she's not.
Black belt. He's athletic and he is an athlete.
I would say I'm more athletic than an athlete.
No, I'd say the opposite. I'd say you're more of an athlete than you are athletic.
Why?
So, question, Beaveman.
Let's switch it real quick.
Is it, if you say a person is one more than the other, is that possibly, and I'm just asking out of curiosity, is that insulting?
No.
No?
No, so I've known Ronz for a long time. I've seen what he can do. He's not athletic. However, I would classify Ronz as a minor athlete.
Because he shows dedication and
Well, because
shows
at
up.
the amount of stuff that Ronz has to know to do what he does make him, in calling him an athlete really is not a compliment, really. It's not, because you're more than that classification. Because you're a teacher. Well, because he's an instructor, so there's a difference. So he's an instructor. He has to know so much more than everybody else to ascend to the level that he's at. So by some sort of a definition, he is an athlete. He's an athlete, but he's not athletic.
He was almost gonna cry because like what you just said just like touched him for a minute.
Like, it was kind of a compliment.
Well, because he's more than an athlete. You know, he's really kind of at the coach level, is really what I would say. So would I say that Ronz is really a true athlete? Nah, not really. But he is kind of more in that. He's in more of that classification than I would say the Swan is.
I don't know. Swan was a great coach when I was running.
Was that something that she was doing? That was 8 minutes, Ronz.
8
So
minutes
all of a
to be a
sudden now
coach.
she's a coach?
I would say so. Well, do you coach other people to run?
No. No.
All right.
I mean, I did pace my running buddy and qualified her for Boston.
So
just
that
saying.
would make you a
I guess
coach.
that makes her an athlete. So
Yeah,
now,
it does.
So now you're going to make her feel bad. So now you're going to take what I said about you, and now you're going to directly translate that to the Swan, as if that's your idea that now the Swan is a coach.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Oh my God, you would say so about everything except for what I
It's
say.
because Ronz is positive,
It's
unlike
like I
you.
would say that you're not only an athlete, Swans,
But,
But you're
okay,
athletic.
but you're also an
but to
Olympian.
qualify for the Boston.
She didn't qualify.
didn't.
for
I
the
qualified
You
my
didn't
running
finish,
buddy.
But yeah, your running buddy. But you helped her qualify by coaching her on, right?
Yeah.
That would qualify. You don't get to the Boston on your own without some sort of
And
mental
I
or
ran the
physical
whole
help.
thing and paced her. Now, did I qualify
Okay,
myself?
but did you qualify? No, because she qualified at a different age than
Correct.
you.
Yes, I agree.
Which is what you're not explaining to everybody else. So you're making it sound like, oh, I helped somebody qualify. Yeah, she had a different qualification standard than you.
Yeah.
Did you qualify for your age?
No.
Okay.
Okay, then the coach of the NFL teams, do they qualify for quarterback? No. There's a different qualification for that, but they help those guys get there. So no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, except they're
you're
not-
a
Thanks,
coach.
Ron.
Except-
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you got me.
Except it's not the same thing because she actually is training along with that person, whereas the coaches are not.
Some of the coaches are.
Oh, Ronz, come on. You're telling me that the coaches, they're going out there, they're doing the same training as the quarterback?
It's like Abby Lee from Dance Moms. Like she doesn't get out there and dance with the girls. She just tells them what to do.
Yeah, but she's got people who do get out there and dance with them. And she tells them what to do, too.
Except,
Yeah.
again, not the same thing that the Swan is doing, that you're saying she's a
But
coach
she was
for.
never a dancer, in her defense. She was under her mom and trained to teach.
I've always like wondered what was her backstory.
Yeah, her mom
Swan,
owned
why
a
don't you
dance
talk into
studio.
the microphone?
I am talking
It's
in
a
the
new
microphone.
thing. It's not a new thing.
Ooh, shut up. I like to make.
I
I
don't
like to
think
talk
I've
Why
ever
don't
to
you
seen
do
that
that?
shit.
Turn the fucking microphone.
Ooh, I'm gonna turn the microphone because I don't have to look at you.
Good.
Ooh.
At least then maybe we get some good sound quality out of you.
Wow.
I can hear myself just fine.
This
So,
is going to
yeah,
be one of those
anyway.
podcasts people are going to listen to us like, are they going to hurt each other when this is over? Jesus.
All right, so I will concede that maybe my definition of being athletic is a bit too strict.
Yes,
think?
you want people
But
to
I'll
be
also say
fucking
this one's
Olympians.
not athletic and she's not an athlete.
I would say-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's some backwards competition that he wants to start or something.
How's this a backwards competition?
Because you're trying to motivate me to do
What- what-
something.
no,
I don't know.
I'm not trying to motivate you
I
to do
don't know.
anything. What?
I don't know.
There's no competition that I would want to do against you because your competitions are lame. You want to like run and bike and like I'm not.
What kind of
interested in that
competition do you
shit.
want to do then?
I don't
want me
wanna
to
do
kick your
anything.
ass?
Well, we already know that you can't do that.
Well,
so-
that you know what, and that's what I asked about earlier. What would you be good at
Yeah.
that would can qualify you as an athlete or an athletic person? And you
Well,
said
see,
nothing.
and then okay,
there
so
we go, nothing.
if I was gonna pick one thing, it probably would.
Hypothetical.
It wouldn't. It is considered a sport, but it wouldn't make me athletic to do it.
What would
What
it be?
Shooting.
Well,
Well,
so,
what about a biathlon? You have to be athletic to do that.
You just asked me
and then you just change
what
it.
I would
Put 'em in a different
pick.
category.
No, it's shooting involved with cross country skiing.
Why would I want to do that?
Okay, fair enough.
You asked me what I would do, and then you try to change my answer.
No,
So
I try
I
to
think-
add.
maybe,
I try to
think
add the
maybe
answer.
more of the question is like, what are you good at that will allow you to like hold a certain title, such as a person can draw, but they may not necessarily be an artist. So something that it may not necessarily be something pertaining to sports as an athlete, but is there something that you are good at, which you just said shooting, as like to be competitive?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
so I think that's a sport that qualifies. Like, just like that girl who just won the shooting thing, and people are like, she's shooting wrong. Like, she outshot you.
Okay, but
times a
again,
million.
that's still, yeah, it is considered a sport, and it's a highly technical sport that requires a high level of skill. But is it the same level of sport as like playing basketball? It's a different type of sport.
It's a different type
Yeah.
of
If he's
skill.
asking me if he's the only, that's why I said, I'm like, yeah, the only one I could think of would be that one, but it's not the same. So in other words, if you're asking me one that requires extreme athleticism on my part, I can't think of anything that I would be able to do.
No.
Well, for shooting, you need to control your breathing, your heart rate.
I'm sorry. You think that the shooters are controlling their heart rates to shoot,
They have to be relaxed when they shoot.
but you think they're controlling their heart rate to shoot?
You don't? You don't control your breathing?
That's not even the same thing. I bet you can't control your heart rate there, Sensei.
Well, you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't think most shooters are like, all right, I'm at 58 beats right now.
I can.
I'm going to go ahead and bring it down incrementally over the next 30 seconds to 45 beats a minute. And mark.
So I was thinking that they have to be extremely.
They do have to control their breathing, but I don't think they're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to control my heart rate now.
Okay.
You thinking about it more of like a skill, like knowing how to practice breathing and attention. I get that.
Exactly. See,
I'm going to go ahead and freeze time.
Do it.
Tromondae is the peacemaker.
He is.
So
what about like the Olympic chess champion?
Okay.
He's
If
an
that-
athlete.
If that's considered a sport, then he's an athlete. Does
Okay.
that make him athletic in comparison to when we're talking about physical prowess?
No, because
Yeah.
you're comparing apples to oranges. You're saying like an
Oh,
Olympic
so now
runner
you're saying
to
that
him.
he's not an athlete.
No, I'm saying he is an athlete.
Which makes my definition of what I told you earlier. Now you're just proving me right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to prove you right.
Well, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now you're actually agreeing
I
with me.
didn't say you had to be both.
No, but you said you're both.
I am. I think I am.
And I'm sorry, what sport is that exactly?
Anything I want to do.
Okay,
I
so
could
now
be
that,
athletic
Now that
in.
I can
That's-
finally get to the
that's-
point
there's
that I
your
wanted
point.
to get
Yeah.
to in the first place, the Swan believes that she could play any sport
If
competitively.
I was coached by someone who explained it,
The Swan believes that she has such natural
I do.
ability
I think I do.
that she could play any sport
Yeah.
at a competitive level.
okay.
And why exactly do you believe
Why
that?
wouldn't? Why couldn't I?
Because I've seen you fall spinning.
I don't
That's a
like.
skill.
I don't like to
You
spin.
get
I get
dizzy.
dizzy when I spin.
You get dizzy if
Okay,
you
I
change
guess-
direction too quickly. So explain to me, Swan, how it is that you feel like you could be trained to do any sports competitively when you can't turn your head in a quick way.
Well, I think twirling is not going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Competitive
but you
twirling.
do have to change direction in a lot of
I
competitive
can
sports
change
very quickly.
directions. I don't want to spin around in
So
circles.
she would never do anything like figure skating.
Yeah, no,
Or
no
basketball.
twirling. I can do basketball. They don't spin in circles to play basketball.
You do have to change direction.
I
and
can
Swan-
change
And Baby Swan
direction.
does spin. She can turn in.
Yeah, I can
off in
spin
there.
around. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want
then
to
you'll
twirl.
fall.
No, I won't. I don't want to twirl like a ballerina. Yeah,
Maybe there's like a
no,
certain number of spins
Yeah, there
where
is.
then
Yeah.
she falls. So maybe she can like
No,
go
she has
4
to spin
times.
one way, and then she has to spin back the other way to equal it out, so she doesn't fall.
You're retarded.
So I'd like to know, how exactly you can do that when you can't even stand.
I can. I can.
You
all right.
can't turn into a lunge and then lunge the other way
I can.
without
I
falling
can.
over.
I can.
Without getting dizzy.
I can.
So
And if we didn't have all of this equipment right here,
I
she
would show
just
you right
us.
now.
she
Yeah,
would just show
I
me.
would, I would totally.
She'd do a kip up like Baby Swan the other day.
Yeah,
Did
I-
not do a kip up.
She was close.
Don't you have something that you have to do?
A kip up.
I might. Is the timer going now?
I don't know. Is
I
it?
don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
the point is you can't. I don't think so. Oh, so what sport is it that you're? If that's true, when you trained, I'll take this as let's use this as an example then. When you trained for a tournament, why'd you botch the tournament if you can be trained into a competitive level?
I think you can be trained.
I can be trained.
We're
Yeah,
talking about something
thanks,
that she
Ronz.
already did.
I don't know. Why did I? Why don't
I
you
don't
tell
know,
me
I'm
why?
asking you.
I don't know. Why don't you tell me why?
You tell me.
Because I'm not athletic.
I mean, why did you straight up choke if you can be trained to an? I mean, you were trained by an actual trainer.
Maybe that's what happens sometimes. Regular athletes or Olympic athletes choke too.
Oh, so now you're saying
Yeah,
that you're an Olympic
yeah.
athlete.
I am.
Wow,
I am.
You're like,
I
because
am.
you're like, this is more proof that I am an athlete because
Exactly,
I choked,
'cause,
much like some Olympians do.
I mean, it's very disappointing when you get disqualified in the Olympics. So I know from experience.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Is that why you hit that girl with that bat in the leg?
It is. It is. It is why I did. Yeah.
And,
I think it was a
Wow.
crowbar, but okay.
and it was your
Tanya
bodyguards.
Hardinged her.
Yeah, I think it was your bodyguards that actually did that, not you.
Yeah.
So you coached from the sidelines.
Yeah.
That makes you an athlete.
That makes me an athlete.
I do not think you're an athlete. You know what? We need to ask the Baby Swan if she thinks you're an athlete.
She does.
So you're saying that the Baby Swan is going to agree with you that you are
I do.
an athlete.
I do.
Would she agree with you that you're athletic?
Yes.
I want to
You
find
know,
out.
honestly, it
Can we
really
find
doesn't
that
matter what anybody else says. It's what you feel and what you think.
Yeah,
about
see,
it.
according to the Ronz,
Of course.
it
Yeah.
only matters what you think in your own head. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. So if you think that you are an athlete, then you are
If
by
Ronz
definition
and I
an
can go to
athlete.
bed at night thinking that we're athletes, good for us. We can't help it that you don't
and,
think
and
that.
part of being an athlete is confidence, and it's something that some people lack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm confident in that
Is
answer.
it confidence or is it delusion?
Both. A little bit of
Yeah,
both.
a little bit of both.
Because I feel like you guys are really.
Imagination, or is it
Hypothetical.
hypothetical?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
Is it the desire to eat tacos or hot dogs, Ronz?
Tacos.
Nah.
I mean, I'd rather
That's
eat
true.
tacos than hot dogs. I'm
That's
just
good.
saying.
Yet I keep asking and still nothing.
Yep.
But only if I could bike to the taco place.
Because that would make you an athlete.
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
So we've decided then. So by your definition, then, have you decided that Ronz is indeed an athlete? Then.
Oh, by
Yeah.
my...
Yeah.
So
Ronz is an
now
athlete.
let me just tell you what she said before we ever had this podcast. She said you weren't. So
That's
now you're
okay.
saying she is. That he
Yeah.
is.
He can be an
Shit.
athlete. We all are.
Honestly, I don't care about anybody else's opinion but my own.
I care because what she said was that you're not. Because I said by her definition that Ronz is, and she said no.
That's okay. She's entitled to her opinion no matter how wrong it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I consider you an athlete because I saw the way you're doing the handstand and trying to put on your shirt. Right? That took skill. And by definition, that makes you an athlete.
By the Swan's definition, I am an athlete.
Mm-hmm. And did you not only did you also compete in tournaments?
Yeah. I like
Did you
low
win or
level.
lose?
Yes. Both.
So that makes you an athlete.
Yeah.
Sure.
See?
So there you go. Right?
Sure does.
And do you train?
Yeah.
So, wow, you're hitting all the marks here.
No,
there.
that doesn't make me an athlete. That makes me a scholar.
Okay, I would agree with that. And in the Beaveman world, the universe, which you are master of, you are not only athletic
Well, I am
and
all
an athlete.
things.
Yeah,
Yes,
you are.
In my universe, I
So
am
you
all
have
things.
to say you're an athlete as well as athletic, or you'd be lying to yourself, and that's something we will not accept.
Uh-huh.
You notice I got him into a corner here.
No, you didn't get me in a corner. I was just thinking like, when he gets this minor philosophical phrasing going, I'm just like, ugh. Ugh. Does he believe what he himself is saying?
I
don't think
do.
so.
I do.
don't think he
But
does.
it's also delusional too.
Yeah, it is definitely delusional. It's definitely delusional.
Okay, Swan, the Swans is doing something on her phone there.
Checking if the baby swan checked my meat.
Okay.
That doesn't sound right at all.
It does not.
Doesn't sound right at all.
Making meatloaf right now.
Ah.
Well, I have nothing else to say because you people, except for Tromondae, are morons.
Is Tromondae an athlete?
Yeah, you
No.
know what?
No.
No,
But is he
Tromondae's like me.
athletic?
Tromondae is not an athlete.
not an athlete, and nor do I think I'm athletic.
But you ride a bike to Taco Bell, so.
No, he
Think
drove.
I drive there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't find myself to be an athlete or athletic.
And
I
he
would
doesn't
say,
have
you
to
know-
be because he's ruggedly handsome. Well, not even.
Well,
ruggedly
yeah,
handsome.
he is
He
ruggedly
doesn't have
handsome.
to be. He doesn't have to be an athlete.
But you do summer camps with kids.
No,
so
he
you
doesn't.
have
Not
to be
anymore.
athletic. Oh, not anymore?
Keep up, Ronz. Keep
Oh,
up, Ronz.
wow. Okay.
But I don't think working at summer camp means you have to be athletic
I
or
think
makes you
it does.
athletic.
No.
Well, we also
They're-
thought that it meant that you occasionally got dirty, and Tromondae proved that wrong. Also,
Yep.
he's like, he worked at camp and did not get dirty. I don't know how you do that. For years, he's known the boy since the boy was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never got dirty.
So how did you accomplish that as an athlete? Or is it more of an
Skills.
athletic skill?
Skills. Skills. He's got the
Skill.
skills.
Wet wipes and running water.
There you go.
I would say that the Tromondae doesn't have to be an athlete or athletic because he's got those model looks
Yeah.
Okay.
and those sensibilities. He can throw any outfit together. You know the best advice that Tromondae ever gave me? Do you know what that is? You know what it is?
I have no idea. But
Cool
Tromondae,
socks.
do you remember?
Cool socks.
Shut the fuck up,
What?
Swan.
You asked a question.
I was just getting ready to say, Tromondae, do you remember what advice you gave me?
Sorry.
And then you just
I
said,
ruined
"Cool
it.
socks."
It has something to do with socks. Do you remember that?
Yep.
What was the advice?
I can remember probably what I said specifically, but like, always have a good pair of socks on. Like, always have fun with your socks.
You mean like the bacon and eggs I have on?
Yeah.
He
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
I just have one.
You got boring socks on.
Yeah, today. Because I was just sitting outside and doing work, but
I agree. I think that's a great statement. Right? It's a great fashion statement. Why be normal? Everybody else.
That is something you are not going to have to worry about.
I would hope not. I would
You
hope
will definitely not have to worry about being normal.
I would hope not. Neither will you.
Thank you.
Know, as long as you keep
Thank
this
you.
up. This is
Wakanda
fantastic.
forever.
Yeah.
Wakanda. I thought you said you were kind of forever. Wakanda forever. Enunciate your words so we can all hear.
Uh-huh.
As an athlete or an athletic person, you need to do this.
Oh boy.
Well, that's it for me, the Beaveman.
Not
Always-
an athlete.
Not an athlete.
But athletic.
Not an athlete. You know, like that that one. What is it? Before they have Fremulon, it has the doctor on there. They're like, not a doctor. Shh.
Yeah.
So that's ours. Not an athlete. Shh. Shh. Shh.
Formula?
No, you can't say that. We did not just say that.
We did not.
No.
You said it twice.
Don't
I
come
think.
after us. We didn't say
Yeah.
that with any contextual meaning whatsoever. But no, I'm the Beaveman. Adios. Much fuckos.
Bye from the
You don't
Swan.
have to say that.
I
They know
can.
they know
Why
you're
do
the
you
Swan.
get to say it?
Because I'm the fucking Beaveman. That's why. Not an athlete.
Not an athlete. Shh.
From the Ronz, a Tromondae, you got the last
No.
word.
Ron's also not an athlete. Shh.
deuces.
Not an athlete.
Phew.